everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Flight with a brief overview of the module that focuses on customer analysis. As you can imagine, consumer behavior, the field of consumer behavior, CB, is enormously big in marketing. When we look at the exchange theory, we know that there's this relationship between the firm and consumers, and a big part of what the firm does is based on what consumers are doing, what they're thinking, how they're acting, how they're behaving, those types of things. And so understanding the consumer is a big deal associated with that. When you look at the text, um, a text very much talks about and focuses on um, the research component, how we research consumers. And that's fine, and that's good to have a basis on. There's an entire professional field called marketing research, which is collectively worth billions and billions of dollars in annual spend. And there are many, 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 many research firms and organizations out there that focus solely on market research. And so while the text spends a good amount of time on that, there are a couple other things that really we need to focus on and we need to think about too. And so in this module, I bring in some new topics that are relevant today, and super important to the CMO or managing a company from a marketing perspective. Um, so, so, um, so certainly, the text will talk about different decision-making roles, the way people make decisions, and decision-making processes, and things like that. Ways we describe consumers. There's a set of W's, I guess. Yeah, that we can describe consumers and things like that, sources of customer information, and the research process and all of that. And those really text based. Some things though that I want you to be exposed to, that go beyond that, is how we're using a lot of that information today. So consumer experience, CX, also user experience, UX, are big, big, big topics today. And understanding how the consumer interacts with your brand is fundamentally important to kind of think about. There's a couple articles, one of which deals with something called a synthetic customer. So, one of the things we can do today is we can create customers using AI and using these digital technologies so we can simulate customers and customer behavior using some really, really cool technology, and we can build research off of it. In other words, we can do research projects based on simulated customers. And this is, in effect, saving companies tons of money, but also lots of time as well. And so that's really good. So that's something that's worth digging into and understanding more. In fact, this module's reflection deals with the pros and the cons associated with using synthetic customers or these simulated customers in market research. So I want you to get into that topic. I want you to think about that quite a bit. Another topic that we introduce, or I introduce, is something called a journey map. And what this is, and again, it's a research technique that's being used heavily today to map how consumers integrate and involve themselves with your brand, from a purchase perspective, from a use perspective, and it takes a customer through the journey of learning about your brand, trying your brand, purchasing the brand, using your products, and so forth. And it maps out that process, with lots and lots of data, and it helps us better understand how the customer reacts, where they feel good about the process, and where they feel bad, which are called pain points. Now, as you can imagine, if you can identify pain points, then you can do something about those to help that customer journey or experience be better, and have a better experience. We do other things in this module where we talk about customer lifetime value, and a little bit of customer relationship management ties into this as well, which again is a very big thing in marketing. But understanding who our most valuable customers are, um, and projecting who will be the most profitable helps us identify where we are going to place a lot of emphasis in our marketing plans and things that we do. So digging into not just how market research is done, but some of the applications here are I think really the takeaways that you're going to value. Again, once you leave the class, once you're a leader, if you're not there yet right now, once you're kind of making upper management decisions in an organization, these are the topics that you're going to be dealing with on a very regular basis. So I want you to have some experience and some knowledge base on some of these concepts. The whole synthetic customer space is going to grow in a huge way. That's going to be something you'll be working with and dealing with, in the future. Currently, again, user experience and customer experience research is huge. It's enormous, and a lot of money is spent in that. There are entire, again, within organizations, there are positions called, user experience managers and customer experience managers and such, and so that's here today. So having an understanding of those types of things are super important. Some of the questions, some of the takeaways that would be helpful for you to really know about and really understand after this module is understanding this idea of the customer journey map, why it's used, how it's developed, those types of things. Customer relationships stages, and kind of what you do to manage the relationship of a customer from a hands-off, arm's length distance type of a relationship to an integrated relationship. There are several stages involved with that, which you'll learn about in this chapter and in this material. CLV, which means customer lifetime value, it's a calculation, so it's something that we compute and we track all the time. It's one of the many metrics that we use in marketing. But it also helps us do market segmentation and helps us identify profitable customers. CRM, what is CRM? What is customer relationship management? How do you integrate data with CRM? How is it used, and how can it be used to create an efficient organization? That's another great topic to really be a master of. If you're reading this material and you're really wanting to take things away from this module, these 4 questions are powerful. If you can answer these 4 questions, you're going to be really well on your way to kind of this knowledge base. And again, all of these things are elements that you will take with you 10, 15, 20 years from now and be able to apply. They're super valuable in that sense. Okay, so again, a lot packed into this. Again, this chapter focuses from the text perspective a lot on the research process, but I think there are some other applications of the research that are probably more important to know. And so I try to pull those out and try to focus on those as much as I can. Okay, so let me know if you have questions. There's a lot packed in here. I know you might need to reach out, which I'd love for you to do. I hope you're having a great few days, and good luck on this.